So in this video, we're going to be talking about why the Chargers should trade for Alvin Kamara. I'm going to get into all the details, don't worry, later on in the video, but right now I need you guys to pay close attention. Number 41, line up in the backfield, you can see they've got a fullback to the right. And watch how this pitch play just unfolds. I'm going to play it through and then break it down for you guys. So the beauty of this play is just pure footwork. I'm going to slow it down for you guys, but watch how Kamara, he just changes his direction so quickly to where he makes two guys miss. They actually fall over, which is even crazier. And then since they're now out of the play, all he has to do is just go right back to his right to get by this defender. So now all of a sudden you have three defenders eliminated, which is crazy for a 30-year-old running back because look what this play looks like. I mean, this is a gain of nothing for 90% of running backs, and Kamara is able to make something positive out of it and actually get a good play on it. And then, of course, to this point, he is going to get chased down by number 27, but look where he ends up. I mean, he's all the way at the 25-yard line. So he gets 10 yards, guys, out of this play. It's just insane to think about, man. The Chargers need to get this guy in Los Angeles as soon as possible. Guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about why the Chargers should trade for Alvin Kamara. Now, there's a couple of things that instantly come up to why this won't work. The first one is I don't know if Kamara would even want to leave New Orleans. He did say at one point that he'd retire before doing that. But teams have reportedly called the Saints trying to acquire Kamara. And I don't know if the Chargers are one of them necessarily, but the fit couldn't make any more sense. Yes, I know Omari Hampton's coming back in a month, but even when he does, the Chargers still need a receiving back. You can't use Hampton every single down of the game. That's a disaster, especially in today's NFL. You have to have two backs. The Chargers don't. Like, they've got Hassan Haskins, who has 5 carries on the season, Kamani Vidal, who is a special teams guy. I mean, the Chargers need help. Kamara, just because he said that he wants to stay a Saint, doesn't mean that that's going to end up being the case. He actually was out-carried by Kendra Miller last game against the Giants. With the Saints being 1 of 4, clearly in sell now mode, the Chargers need to make a move. Another thing that kind of concerns me is the Chargers just don't have a lot of day 3 picks. So currently it looks like they have a 4th and a 6th round pick. Now Joe Mixon went for a 7th. So in my notes, I wrote down that the Bengals traded Joe Mixon to the Texans for a 7th. I thought I had another back on there. I guess the reason I wrote that was because I was thinking, oh, well, a 6th round pick gets it done. I don't know if the Saints would do that. Like, a 6th round pick is better than nothing. But to that point, you kind of might as well keep Kamara. But if the Chargers float around a 4th round pick, then I certainly think the Saints would pull the trigger on that, man. And the fit would be awesome because Herbert finally would have... Well, Austin Eckler was awesome catching the ball out of the backfield, but, since Eckler's left, obviously there hasn't been much. Najee Harris is out, Hampton's out. I think Kamara makes a lot of sense because even when Hampton's fully good to go, again, you have Kamara's skill set catching the ball out of the backfield and to sort of give a breather to Hampton. It makes a lot of sense. You never can have too many good running backs. Like the Lions have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. And Kamara, he just has a unique skill set that a lot of running backs in the league just don't have, even though he's 30 years old. We're talking about the Bolts being able to have more playmakers. The offensive line hasn't been very good. Like Bradley Bozeman's been flat out terrible. Zion Johnson hasn't been anything special. Joe Alt's hurt. Rashawn Slater's hurt. You got Trey Pipkins. Like you're talking about, Mekhi Becton was in and out of the lineup. Of course, he had that concussion he came back from. Jamari Sawyer he's like a deaf guy, but still, like the Chargers were down to their 3rd string tackle at one point last week. This team they need playmakers, and it doesn't matter how many playmakers you have if you can't block, but at least until guys come back, it would help. But you just look at what Kamara can do, and it's just super impressive, and I'd love to have that type of skill set on this current roster. And I know there's going to be tons of fans that would not trade a 4th round pick for a 30-year-old running back. He does have another year on his contract. And I get that I'm not an NFL GM, and if I was, I might have a different thought on it. But all I really care about is winning as a Charger fan. And certainly the ceiling of the Chargers is greater with Alvin Kamara on it versus if he's not. I don't know how I feel about going out and getting a Gus Edwards, going out and getting a Jamal Williams. And a lot of people didn't like the video I made talking about free agent pickups. Well, why do you think that is? Because all the running backs in free agency are in free agency for a reason. So if you guys truly want a good back, you're going to have to trade up for it. And if the Chargers trade their 4th, well, the only day 3 pick they'd have remaining would be a 6th round pick. Technically you could argue that the Chargers could trade a 6th round pick, but I just don't think that the Saints would do that, if I'm being honest. I mean, especially a Charger 6th round pick, which is going to be towards the back end of the draft. It makes more sense for them just to keep him and kind of split carries with Kendrick Miller. Maybe I'm wrong, but with teams acquiring, I think somebody's going to do more than a six. Like, I think a 5th round pick honestly feels kind of fair, but the Chargers don't have a 5th round pick. I mean, maybe they can make a move or do a three team trade and I don't know, make something happen. But I do think that this team needs more out of the backfield. The biggest issues right now is edge rushing, which they sort of addressed by going out there and getting Odafe Oweh. Offensive line now becomes the next biggest thing, but the thing about that is teams don't trade high quality offensive linemen because you can never have enough O linemen. Like outside of the quarterback position, well, actually, you could argue the offensive line is even more important than the quarterback position because even Patrick Mahomes, remember he got killed by the Bucs in that Super Bowl because he wasn't being protected. That's the thing is you need a franchise quarterback, but if he's not protected, you don't even have a chance anyway. Look at Joe Burrow, man. How has that worked out for him? Being in shotgun all the time and taking those hits. He's missed like 3 seasons at this point. I mean, Joe Burrow would probably be a top 5 quarterback ever if he could stay healthy. Maybe a top 3. Like he's so freaking good. The Burrow glaze is crazy. But in all seriousness, yes, the Chargers need to block better. But once they get back Joe Walt, of course, they'll be fine. Mekhi Becton is consistently out there. They're going to get Rashawn Slater hopefully next season. Kamara is also under contract, so it's not like you're trading a 4th-round pick for a rental. Kamara will be here next season, so it gives you 2 chances to seriously win a Super Bowl. And just the thought of Herbert just kind of like checking it down to Kamara or running screens. And it's not like Kamara's only good as a receiving back. He can certainly run the ball very, very well. Like Joe Mixon is a stud. And let's just kind of compare their numbers quickly. So Mixon has more career rushing yards than Kamara and 1 fewer touchdown run. But of course, Kamara's production as a receiver far outweighs the difference. Through 9 seasons, Kamara has 12,565 yards from scrimmage and 87 total touchdowns. The numbers don't lie. That's super impressive. I just think that this move would significantly increase the production of the Chargers offense. Because right now, we've seen Amari and Hampton catch the ball on checkdowns and get up the field for 10, 12 yards. But what if that was Alvin Kamara, who can make a guy miss and be gone? It's just another thing to have to worry about. Everyone would benefit off of this. It just means that the defense has to worry about it. You want defenses to have to worry about different things. And I think it would bring out the best in Herbert. Because a lot of the times, Herbert is going to have to get rid of the ball quickly. And just to have basically a receiver at that position is just massive, man. I just don't think there's a better fit for Kamara in football right now than the Chargers. I mean, ideally, he'd want to be behind an elite offensive line. But the thing that I think would really sell Kamara would be playing with Justin Herbert. Because Kamara, where's he going to go where he's going to play with a quarterback as talented as Herbert? And given the fact that the Chargers, they've gone into the playoffs with Herbert twice and they've fallen short and it's been kind of just disasters, it's just a safety blanket, man. And he fits well with Hampton because you look at Kendrick Miller with the Saints, like I mentioned earlier, he had, 10 carries to Kamara's 8. Now, Hampton, I think, would get a lot more work as a rusher than Kamara, but on 3rd downs, Kamara is going to be out there. And it's going to keep Hampton fresh. It's going to help Kamara out. And could you imagine the Chargers on 3rd downs having Alvin Kamara out there? Because you have to deal with Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen, McConkey, Arondé Gadsden when he starts to get more work, and then Alvin Kamara. Like, it's just a lot. And also, you could really have 2 running back sets. You could use Hampton and Kamara at times as well, and that would be super interesting. So I like the thought of this. This move specifically is not going to get the Chargers a Super Bowl. They still have to make more moves, but it's at least a start, man. And I know that the Chargers probably won't ever be in a situation where they're fully healthy, but what if they were? Like, what if they had Slater, all Hampton, and Alvin Kamara next season? Like, that's pretty scary to think about. I just want this team to win, and I think signing a free agent back is what they're going to do. But, man, I mean, Alvin Kamara would be freaking awesome, dude.